Pursuing your dream of mountain climbing would exhaust you as well as your savings. Climbing Mount Everest requires you to have adequate finance to support your journey. It's a very expensive climb and you cannot do it for free. Most people let go of their dream to climb Mount Everest due to their unwillingness to pay a part of their savings. Would climbing Mount Everest cost you a fortune? How do these climbers afford it? Raising the funds for climbing Mount Everest is tougher than the expedition. From the time you decide to climb Everest, your preparation to conquer it began. Physical fitness and mental stability are needed for the climb. Even experienced climbers go for high-intensity training as they need a fit body to survive Everest. Usually, it would cost you $8,000 to train for 12 to 15 months. Before we look into further expenses required for climbing Mount Everest, smash the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss a single video from Mountaineers. The most important factor of mountain climbing is to get access to the climb. Only with a permit issued by the Nepal Government, people could step foot on Everest. The permit would cost around $11,000. The climate condition of Everest is scarier than you could ever imagine. You need to be well equipped to survive higher altitudes. You have to bear the expense of not only you, but also the Sherpa assigned to you, which includes even the expense of oxygen tanks. Every year, Mount Everest is climbed by people from all around the world, but only a few of them return alive. Apart from oxygen tanks, you need to have access to personal equipment. The best quality oxygen tanks and equipment will cost around $11,000. The next big purchase would be clothes and accessories. If you're not dressed for the climate and the climb, there's a high chance for you to face death. Do press the like button to take a look at the list of items you require. The downsuit will cost $1,500. Boots and crampons would require $1,000. Hats, gloves, socks, a bag, and other miscellaneous items would cost $2,000. Sleeping bags are necessary and they would cost $1,500. Medicine, food, and first aid would cost around $3,000. A few $1,000s would be your expense to have nutritiously packed food for you and the Sherpas. Hiring a Sherpa would cost around $6,000. Transportation comes under major expenses if you're not from Kathmandu, situated in Nepal. You need to book your flight and make sure that you're staying at a comfortable place. All these require a significant amount to be paid. If you're opting for Western guides, then it adds up to the expense as their assistance is very costly. Other expenses include tips for porters, staff, Sherpas, and insurance. Looks like you need to have around $50,000 to cover all your expenses. COVID-19 has caused a major setback in the tourism industry. There were several restrictions imposed on the climbers on Mount Everest, and the cost of climbing Mount Everest drastically increased. This affected a lot of climbers who were preparing for their climb. Due to these factors, many climbers dedicated to reschedule their visit to Mount Everest. Even though COVID restrictions are removed, the expenses are not reduced. The demand for climbing Mount Everest has always been high. The Nepal government is welcoming new climbers with open hands. Many people are showing interest in outdoor and adventurous activities as they were locked in their homes during the COVID lockdown. This made them realize the importance of living their life connected with nature. No matter how much the price of mountain climbing is going to increase, the demand for climbers will never go down, especially during the post-COVID period. Do you have to be immensely wealthy to reach the peak of Mount Everest? There are several companies which assist climbers in mountain climbing. They are inclined to make deals with customers by offering to climb Mount Everest on a very low budget. But with a low-budget service comes greater personal risk you have to be willing to take. Choosing a skilled and qualified guide could save your life to an extent, even though there are certain higher risks associated with mountain climbing. When you opt for a less experienced guide or no guide at all, you're voluntarily inviting your death. It's always up to you whether you should put your safety first or save a few dollars. Would you pay $50,000 to climb Mount Everest, or would you say no to the climb? Let us know in the comment section.